Guys, welcome back to Grim Productions, and today I'm going to be doing my top 5 favorite Spirit Halloween animatronics for this year. Now, I was going to be doing a full ranking video, like, earlier in the season, but I just thought that would be too long of a video, and I don't really think anybody wants to sit down for, like, 30 minutes to an hour and listen to me talk about my entire ranking of it. I know some other haunters do that, but I'm not really going to do that. So I just kind of narrowed it down to my top 5, which I think is good enough. But these animatronics will only be the in-store ones, so like none of the online animatronics, just the in-store ones, the ones that you can actually see in-store, because that way it's fair, like, because I've seen most of the in-store props, but yeah. So for number 5, we have Deadly Creeper. Now, I know this one isn't the most popular one, and this is just my opinion, I guess, for this list, so don't get mad at me in the comments. But Deadly Creeper is actually one of my favorites this year because of just the size in general of him. At first, I didn't think he was worth the price, and I still don't really think he's worth the price. But he is just absolutely huge. And I'm a sucker for like spider-related props because I love like spiders and like the creepy bugs and stuff like that. I think that's really cool for Halloween. So I think Deadly Creeper is overall a really good spider. And I like how he actually does have some movement in his pedipals, how they kind of move up and down, and the audio is also, pretty cool. But overall, he's just a really good spider prop in my opinion, and even though my store didn't really have him like where his legs were like set out, like how he is in these photos, I could still kind of make out the size of him, and it is huge. Just like the main piece of him in general is ginormous. He can't even fit in the display, like that's how large he is. I think he should have definitely been like 150 at most or something like that, because he doesn't have the most realistic look to him. He looks more like a giant spider stuffed animal, but he's still really cool. And if you have any kind of like spider room or spider related display or something, he would be a great fit in there, possibly even surrounded by a bunch of other like little spiders. For number 4, I put Monty on the list. Now, Monty is basically on everybody's like at least top 10 list for this year. He is such a unique and just different animatronic, and I really like the unique props that we don't see very many of. And Monty is definitely one of those animatronics that I wish we could see a lot more of. Just this very like uncanny kind of animatronic that you don't expect to see. I don't know. There's something about Monty that I really like a lot. Especially like in store. I don't know if it's his size or just the look of him, but it's just a really cool animatronic, and I totally recommend it for any like, I guess, like if you have some kind of like creepy doll or toy room or something, he would look really good in there, because that's kind of what he's supposed to represent, is like a creepy doll or toy. He's just very off looking. Something's very just disturbing about him, and I really like that look of him. I think they nailed it with him. The only complaint I have with him is I wish he would have at least maybe clashed the cymbals a little bit faster, just because that's how the toy is in real life. And I get it's a big animatronic and they can't really go that fast, but you can go a little faster, I feel like, than what they're going now. He's made by Seasonal Visions, which has made many fast moving jump scare animatronics, so I don't really know why they couldn't. I mean, I do know that it would probably break easier if he did go faster, but I just feel like it would have looked a little bit more realistic and just overall worth that $300 price tag, which is a very steep price for a 6-foot tall animatronic. But the fur on him is really good too. That might be one of the reasons why he's so expensive, is because the fur is like really good quality, and it actually looks like real fur that you would see on like an animal, or maybe even like, I don't know, one of those like Chuck E. Cheese animatronics or something. That's kind of what I mean by like the uncanny. Like, he just looks very, very creepy. Something that shouldn't look creepy looks very disturbing. And I know a lot of people said that the toy itself that he's based off of looks creepier, and I kind of agree, because those things are just really weird looking. But I think that they got close to actually making it creepy. I think this is definitely going in the right direction with how we want Spirit Halloween to go. Even though it might not be gruesome or bloody or anything like that, how they were back then, I think this is definitely a good step in a new modern direction of making actually scary animatronics. For number 3, we have Bog Zombie. Now, whenever I first saw Bog Zombie on the sneak peeks, I kind of thought he was a little just generic of a zombie. He was, just your average kind of groaning zombie that kind of moved around. But after seeing him in person, I really like all the details that he has. For a zombie animatronic, and I guess this modern age, he actually has a lot of really cool details, and he doesn't really need blood or guts or anything like that to make him look like a zombie. He just looks like a corpse. And I just think there's a lot of good traits about him that make him a very unique zombie, and I love the seaweed, like ocean kind of aspect of him. And I've kind of been thinking to myself, this would be the perfect prop to put in for the 2019 theme. Not exactly a pirate, but just a very like oceany kind of prop, if that makes sense. Like, he just has a lot of those elements, and of course that's what he's supposed to. He's supposed to have like a swamp or like a lake kind of element to him, with the gurgle noises and the seaweed everywhere. And I just think it works super well, and the colors on him are really, really cool. That greenish with hints of turquoise kind of mixed in there, it just flows so nicely in this animatronic, and the face is also really cool. I don't know, there's just something about this zombie that is really different from the rest, and we haven't really been seeing that many zombie props lately, so to see a new one that's actually unique is very like refreshing to see. So yeah, Bog Zombie is definitely one of my favorites for this year. Just everything about him is really, really good. And yeah, on to number 2. For number 2, we have the Strawman. Now, this is yet another like inbox only animatronic for this year, just like Deadly Creeper is. And this is a really cool animatronic. I don't know why he's not in store like full time. He definitely should be. But he is unfortunately just a like inbox only kind of prop, a filler prop. But luckily though, my local store did actually set him up, so I did get to see him in person, and he is a really cool one. So basically, this is a servo scarecrow animatronic made by Seasonal Visions, and it's very similar to Grimm, who's also a servo prop with the movements. Although they do have completely different movements, it is still like the same concept, I guess, of like a servo animatronic. They use the same mechanism basically as far as that goes. But it's just a really cool idea, especially with a scarecrow, how he just moves so weird. I don't know if it's like he moves human or unhuman. Like, it's just very off, and I like the way he moves. He kind of like twitches to the side, and I think it looks really, really cool, especially for a scarecrow. Like, he doesn't move like smooth like how Grimm does. He's just very like twitchy. But at the same time, his animation is very smooth. I don't know, it's very hard to explain. He's just very jerky. And just everything about him is really, really cool. The phrases are very like creepy. The movements, like I said, they're fantastic, and the detail in the face is really good too. Although I do kind of prefer Looming Strawman from 2018 overall as like a scarecrow prop. I do think this year's Strawman is really good, and definitely a step up from last year's scarecrow that we had. And I hope that they continue to do servo animatronics at Spirit Halloween. And I'm assuming they are, because they sell pretty well, and from they've been always getting like positive feedback. So hopefully they'll continue this trend. But for this year, Strawman is a very good servo animatronic. And for number 1, we have the Lord Raven animatronic. This is kind of by far my favorite one from this year. He's the only one that I purchased from Spirit Halloween that is new for this year, besides Dr. Illume, but I'm not going to include him in this list. But Raven is such a unique animatronic. He is like the peak of uniqueness, I feel like, as far as the concept goes. The execution of the clothing could have been a little bit better, but besides like the clothing and the cloak, he is very, very different and unique, and I really, really like it. I like how it's almost like a cross between, I guess, what you can consider a Plague Doctor prop and just some kind of bird monster. I don't really know what it is, and I like that. I like the props where I don't really know what's going on, and you kind of let the imagination kind of speak for itself here. And I think Raven is a good example of those kind of animatronics. You can't really tell what he is exactly because of just how, I guess, messed up looking he is. And I think that concept is really, really good, and I think it was executed pretty well. The movements on him are also fantastic. He has another one by Seasonal Visions, and just the movements on him are so just eerie and smooth, and I just love the way the neck just kind of lurches out and then it goes back in almost at like a slow pace, and then the wings kind of go up and down. It just looks really, really cool, and I feel like in like the right lighting it can look amazing, and it could probably scare a couple kids going through your haunt or display, whatever you have. And my plan with him is to probably put him like under a tree or something, or near a bush, and have like dead birds or like around him. That's my plan, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess, how it goes once the season gets closer to Halloween. But I'm hoping that it'll look good. I'm assuming it will, though, because this is such a fantastic animatronic. The voice of him is also very creepy. It's exactly how I would imagine like a monster bird to sound like, very scratchy and, you know, very kind of high pitched. I'm glad that they didn't go with like the generic like deep voiced monster. I think what they chose was definitely a good idea. Although his audio is a little, I guess, fried or whatever you would call it. Overall, I think it does sound good, and it kind of adds to like the scratchiness of Raven as a whole. So yeah, overall, fantastic animatronic. I used a coupon on him, got him for about $240. Totally worth it in my opinion. Maybe $300 is a little steep, as it is for any animatronic, but $240 is definitely worth it in my opinion for Raven. Anyways, guys, that'll do for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell me down below in the comments, what do you think of this list, and what is your list for this year? What is your top 5 favorite animatronics for this year, or just from any other company? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.